We've been monitoring the seemingly annual flood concern along the Platte and Elkhorn rivers over the past week. One community knows all too well about the devastation floodwaters can cause.
6 News Daybreak anchor Craig DeGrelli takes us to King Lake, where the damage from the historic flooding now 5 years ago is still everywhere.
Sheets of ice covering part of the Elkhorn River in western Douglas County, prompting flood watches for a few days for potential ice jam flooding. It's a familiar story in the community of King Lake, east of Valley. On shore, we found obvious reminders of the disastrous flooding in the spring of 2019. Rebar, hills of mud, and concrete chunks piled up near the banks of the river. Homes along Riverside Drive and other buildings boarded up. A dumpster overflowing with debris that appears to have been there for a long time. Only one sound breaks the late morning silence a few times. You can see the destruction everywhere. Former houses just crumpled, signs that say danger, closed. A row of mobile homes, unlivable, with high water marks staining the sides. More than 100 homes at King Lake sustained flood damage in 2019. Inspectors deemed at least 30 destroyed and not to rebuild.
Well, the frustration sometimes is that, again, what do I have control over statutorily? What do I actually have the ability to affect change, with?
Mike Friend is the Douglas County Commissioner who represents District 7 and King Lake.
Some of the times the only way you're going to be able to get insured in those areas is to get it through the federal government. And the federal government is, from what I understand, FEMA and the federal government's been fairly responsive, especially in 2019. However, it doesn't take care and deal with all the damage.
Mike Friend says from a Douglas County point of view, their number one priority when it comes to King Lake is emergency services and making sure if there is catastrophic flooding yet again, responders can get to the remaining residents.
When something bad happens and somebody's stranded, the county needs to know because emergency management's key. And like I said, we want to be responsive.
As for the blighted buildings, I'm told it's the owner's responsibility when it comes to demolition, but that would be costly. We checked. There are currently no houses on the City of Omaha demolition list for King Lake.
What that leads to is less than optimal living conditions for people who are, really have no other choice. They can't move. They can't, purchase another piece of property in a different area, or they just don't want to move.
In the meantime, it certainly feels like time has stood still in this small community along the Elkhorn River for almost 5 years now. On your side, Craig DeGrelli, 6 News.
Craig, thank you. Douglas County Commissioner Mike Friend insists the area is not forgotten. He says the county works in tandem with the Waterloo and Valley Fire districts to make sure the residents have emergency protections.